It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? This is the only Survivor podcast. My name is Jake Shadow. Each week I ask my best friend Thomas Powell if he did indeed watch a certain reality show. Hey, Thomas, how you doing today?
Jake, I'm doing all right. I'm back in the great state of Michigan after a brief stay in the land of 10,000 lakes. That's right. The great state of Minnesota. Minneapolis. Twin cities.
Living in...
of Minneapolis and St. Paul. I saw it all. I saw the light rail. I saw the Minnesota Vikings stadium that is big and ugly. Mm-hmm. I saw several impressionist paintings in the Minneapolis Art Museum, which they have a great collection of that. Very good collection of surrealist art as well. And I saw several restaurants. That's all there is there, and I saw it all.
You saw several restaurants.
No, I didn't go in. No, I didn't go in.
There's just so many restaurants to see.
I saw all the restaurants, and I did not disturb them. I took only photos and left only footprints.
And that's the way they prefer you interact with a restaurant these days. You know, with COVID and everything. Don't leave your germs at restaurants.
Yeah.
is the mission. That's really fun. I stayed in Chicago all weekend, as I do every weekend, because I have a very cool life here in a very cool city. The second city. Did you know that? It's the second city.
What's the first city?
After Boston.
Interesting. What's the third city?
Mm-hmm. Austin, Texas.
Weird. Is there a city that rhymes with Chicago and fourth? Like every other one rhymes? You got Boston and Austin. You got Chicago.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's Dallas. Yeah. There were a lot of cities in Texas, actually. And I know Dallas doesn't rhyme with Chicago. I forgot that was the bit. I was doing more of an ABCD thing. What are we talking about?
That's a good question, Jake. Speaking of questions.
Oh, Thomas, you said you were in the Twin Cities this week. Two cities. Which is actually somewhat similar to the name of the episode of this week's Survivor episode. Did you watch Survivor Marquesas last night?
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
The name of the episode of this episode.
The name of this episode.
Did I watch the episode of this episode of the episode of Survivor? Jake, yes, I did.
Did you know, in fact, it is called A Tale of Two Cities?
I would have liked it better if this was a tie-in with the... I think the timeline does not match up with the Garfield film, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Well, I would also like that. I think we can all agree we need more Garfield in our world, in our lives. Garfield... I feel like Garfield... It was weird that we had a cat be president.
Yeah, people were saying that the orange cat was bad, and they were very disrespectful of his lasagna ban, Monday ban, and mandate of lasagna for all. But
I think that one was good, actually.
But, I think that history has vindicated him, and I think just because he deported Odie to Abu Dhabi, I think that's not... I think it needed to happen for national security reasons.
I agree. Garfield the movie was released June 11, 2004.
Make America Garfield again.
A Tale of Two Kitties was released in 2006, whereas this episode of Survivor Marquesas aired on May 16, 2002. So you're right, the timeline does not line up, unfortunately. How old would you have been May 16, 2002? A pre-Tale of Two Kitties world it was.
We had not been blessed. We saw things in a different way, People talk about pre-9/11 attitude in, cinema, but pre-Garfield Tale of Two Kitties. I think that's the real point of... That's when we got real cynical afterwards, because we knew nothing could be as good.
Everybody is so cynical these days, and it's like, let me just enjoy Garfield, It's
annoying. I hate when someone says that Garfield's not good, and I have to pinch their lips and say, let people enjoy Garfield.
Exactly. Last week's episode of Survivor received 20.83 million viewers and saw Shaq's friend get voted out. Do you think that increased or decreased the viewership? And remember, this guy, he's friends with Shaq.
He's friends with Shaq.
And very popular.
He does a song that everyone likes. So I would say 5 million viewers. I would say that they alienated roughly 3/4 of their viewers.
Wow. Okay. It received 19.15 million viewers.
So it was a pretty significant drop-off.
It was more than a million. More than 1.5 million people were like, if Shaq's friend isn't on it, I'm not watching.
Yeah, where Shaq's friend goes, I go.
It was all of the General Insurance customers left with the General when he left.
They went with the General to save some
beach.
time.
Yeah, exactly. Who is going to sway Kathy to come to their side? Giuseppe and Sean, or Pascal and Aaliyah? That's the question of this episode. Who do you think she should have gone with?
Jake, who's the Kelsey Grammer in this scenario? And who's the Democrat in Swing Vote?
I don't know. Garfield?
I'm just.
I never.
We should
have to
probably
admit
watch
something to you, Thomas.
We've referenced Swing Vote so many times.
Next off week we'll watch Swing Vote 2008. Those peak political times in America.
Dennis Hopper is the other guy. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So would you say that Kathy's a real Kevin Costner in this scenario?
Yeah, because she's the Bud Johnson.
Yeah. And I would say that Pascal and Aaliyah are probably the president. What's this guy's name?
Andrew Boone.
They're probably the president Andrew Boone. And I would say that Sean and Vesepia are probably the Donald Green. It looks like what his name is.
Donald Greenleaf is what I've got over here.
They're cut off on the Google thing here.
Oh, see, I'm on IMDb.com.
Yeah, I could have gone. I could have clicked on one
website.
page and gotten there, but I was too lazy.
Who do you think is the John Sweeney of this season of Survivor? And John Sweeney, you might recall, was played by he was played by George Lopez.
Yeah, the minute I saw it was George Lopez, I was like, it's got to be Jeff.
Makes a lot of sense. I will say, if they ever make a movie about J.B. Pritzker, the great governor of Illinois, they should get Nathan Lane to play him, because he kind of looks like him in the clip.
I think that would be a great choice.
J.B. Pritzker, he announced that he's going to run for governor again, and I say, yeah, sure, why not?
4 more years. Get the
4
ice
more
cream
years,
man
like they
back.
said with Richard Nixon. Right. Forget that.
Wait, no, wasn't the ice cream man the ice cream guy was the previous governor, right?
Ice cream man. I don't know what you mean by that.
Wasn't the previous governor of Illinois also a billionaire, and he was rich because he owned an ice cream company?
I don't know. Let me see.
J.B. Pritzker is rich because he
Ducey
owns the Hyatt hotel chain.
Yeah, Cold Stone Creamery. He was the governor of Arizona since 2015. So, Doug Ducey is his name. He also signed an ice cream freedom bill. So, that was in 2019. So, pretty good guy.
Yeah, I think you could say
Doug
that.
Ducey. I also just realized that I didn't Google Illinois when I typed in ice cream man governor.
Yeah, I think Bruce
Oberweis?
Rauner is who I'm thinking of.
Well, Jim Oberweis is also somebody.
Oh, maybe that's
the owner of
who I'm
Oberweis
thinking
Dairy. He served as a member of the Illinois Senate from 2013 to 2021.
Perhaps that is who I'm thinking of.
So, that's something also. Oh, he's a Republican. Republicans love their ice cream, just like they love their sneakers, you know? Nalia says the race thing has never played a part in the game. Everybody assumes that Sean and Giuseppe are teaming up because they're both black. But they also are teaming up.
They are.
But also they have to team up because...
But that's the thing, is like, yeah, what choice do they have? Like, Pascal and Nalia are a strong alliance.
Yeah. They indeed are. At the reward challenge, they combine the 6 previous challenges. 6 of the previous challenges, I should say. There's a tiki, and then they have to do something with coconut juice, and then there's stilts, and then they have to unlock a slingshot and then cover the tiki in sand. Pretty good challenge.
Yeah.
I like when they combine previous challenges.
I like that it was the previous ones. The overall feeling of it did kind of feel like more modern challenges, where it's just you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just a variety of things.
But I like the variety when it calls back to previous challenges.
Yeah, that's a nice little touch.
It's variety for variety's
No
sake.
puzzle pieces either, so that was a big plus.
The winner receives a Saturn View. Remember the Saturn View? A great car.
Good for Sean. Sean gets a car. And will definitely win the show also.
That's the thing with the cars. The people who win the cars always win the show. Back at camp, Pascal is feeling like a wreck and very dizzy. Kathy, Nalia, and Sean go get Troca. Do you know what Troca is?
Jake, I'm not familiar with... Sorry, I was sending a very important text. I'm very committed to this. Thank you, fans, for listening. This is the content that we give you. Anyway, no, I'm not familiar with what that is. But you know what? I am familiar with the fans and how thankful I am for them.
Troca. It's some sort of seafood that they went and caught. I was hoping you would know, but I couldn't find anything on it. Anyway, don't let me distract you from texting.
I was texting our fans, thank you.
Oh, okay, good. I hope you got that text, fans. Giuseppe approaches Pascal about people talking about him and Nalia having an agreement, I guess. I don't know. And then Giuseppe holds a tribe meeting around the fire at night to clear the air, I guess. This was nice.
Yeah, to just have... When people stop being polite and start being real...
we really do need more of it. Too many fake people on Survivor these days.
I agree.
Can't
lots
wait
of fake
to,
friends, lots of clout sharks. You know.
Nalia... No, wait, where were we? Pascal admits that he would never vote for Nalia, and Nalia is upset that people assume that she and Pascal have an agreement and says, what about Giuseppe and Sean?
This is such bullshit. They assume that you have an agreement with it because you fucking talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Pascal says Giuseppe and Sean haven't been contributing around camp, and then Sean tries to sway Kathy over to their side. If you were in Kathy's position, who would you go with here?
Probably Sean and Giuseppe.
Yeah, me too. You have to break them up.
I'd be trying to get Pascal out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. At the immunity challenge, they do folklore. This is the one where Jeff tells them a story about local history, and then they have to go answer trivia questions. It's one of the best challenges they've ever
It's
done.
great. It's a really fun one.
Kathy wins this one. I didn't follow the story at all, to be honest.
No, not really.
But that's okay. Also, in episode 11 of Survivor Wild West, they do folklore too, so you could read that at the website that I've mentioned before. Back at camp, Kathy doesn't know which way to vote. It's really up in the air. She's a real Kevin Costner.
No, she's a real George Clooney. You said it's up in the air.
She's a real George Clooney.
Yeah, you said it's up in the air. She's a real Anna Kendrick.
You know what else is up in the air?
Birds, yes.
It's time for a little segment called Wildlife Shots.
Alive.
We got birds, as I already mentioned.
What kind of birds
as
are we
a
talking?
Perfect transition. I don't know. The birds are hard to... That was really good.
Yeah.
That's what the birds sound like, yeah.
Sorry, there was a bird outside. It was really loud. I apologize if my mic picked that up.
A lot of distractions over on Thomas's end. There was also a chicken. There was also a yellow paper wasp. Do you know anything about the yellow paper wasp, Thomas?
It's a wasp that has all the phone numbers of local businesses.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You can ask this wasp any phone number and it'll know. It's really nice. They are native to India and East Asia, but have been introduced to East Africa and the Pacific Islands. Their nests can be found in trees or walls. They may also find their way into a house because they are attracted to the light from a light bulb. And here's a nice thing about this wasp. Most wasps I don't like, but these are okay because they are generally not aggressive and will only sting you if you provoke them. So, these guys are okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
In my book. Yeah. Just, hey, don't bother me, we won't bother you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to bug these wasps. I'm trying to leave them be. I only ask that they extend the same courtesy.
Simple as that. At Tribal Council, Jeff asks Kathy where she's at with the two sides. And then she says that immunity is always up for negotiation, but nobody wanted to negotiate with her. Sure. And then
I'm surprised more people
Sean's-
don't do that.
Why do you say that?
You know, just the idea of somebody being like, I guess this was pre like immunity idols, but like, you could be like, hey, I'll trade you like a individual immunity idol for this. Like, if you don't think you're gonna get voted out.
Yeah, but
I guess that wouldn't
feel
really
like
help that person that much. They could always just play their immunity idol though. So,
but I think in this situation, even if you are the swing vote,
what do you have to negotiate with? You know.
Right, I'm not giving up immunity for anything. With only 5 people left?
Yeah.
No way. What's to stop them from turning around
It's
and
like
being
the
like, actually,
Detroit
let's vote
Pistons
Kathy.
having the number 1 pick. It's like you can offer a lot of trades, but I don't know if anyone
But
has
there's
enough
only
they
one.
can give.
Yeah. Maybe if somebody had Kevin Costner, we could take him. He could be a coach or something. I don't know. He's probably too old to play now. I don't know. How old's the oldest basketball player, you think?
What if Kevin Costner was in an NBA front office and he was a scout and all the scouts were deadlocked and he had to decide who the Pistons would draft? Crazy. That could be a movie called Swing
Should be a
Vote
movie.
2. Draft Day 2.
Yeah. It's a sequel to both movies.
My favorite kind of movie is one where it's a sequel and then the subheading of it is also a subcontracted sequel of another movie.
Yeah. Yeah. It really brings the two franchises together, which, we do need more of in Hollywood these days. Sean says that he would go to the end if Kathy gives him immunity. I mean, why not? Yeah, sure, go for it, Kathy. Sean gets upset that there isn't as much a microscope on Nalia and Pascal's relationship as there is on his and Vesepia's. It's fair criticism.
Yeah, I think he's got a good point there.
Then Nalia gets 2 votes and Sean gets 3. So that's it. Final 4, Kathy, Nalia, Pascal, and Vesepia. Thomas, who are you rooting for? Who do you expect to win? How do you think it'll finish?
I'm rooting for Vesepia. I think that Kathy is going to win.
How do you think the placing will finish?
So, did this season do a final 3 or a final 2?
Final 2.
So, I'm going to say Nalia gets voted off next, then Pascal, Vesepia number 2, Kathy number 1.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll see, because next week we are finishing this season, and then the week after that, we are starting Survivor Gabon. It's going to be a great time. I think very different from this season.
Yes, I've
excited.
heard it was Didn't Jeff Probst almost quit over this season?
I think that might be right. I feel like I heard that before. Yeah. So I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
It's gonna be a good time. Thomas, what is your Twitter?
You can follow me at Tom Not Tom. That's all.
Okay. You can follow the show at DYWSLN. No basketball tweets on that one, most likely.
They're not allowed.
We're not allowed to, for whatever reason, anytime we try to tweet about basketball from that account, Twitter's like, no, you can't.
Yeah, a picture of Jack's face pops up, and he's frowning, and it just says, no.
Yeah. No good. Please delete. We're also on Instagram.
It's like the virus in Jurassic Park when they try and get into Newman's computer, and then Newman pops up and goes, That's what it does when we try and post about sports on that account.
Yeah. So we can't do that. We also can't do that on our Instagram account, which is the Only Survivor Podcast. That's this one. We've already thanked the fans. If you wanted to thank us, fans, you could do that on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever you call it. Do you want to give the people the boilerplate review, Thomas?
Sure. 5 stars, please, first and foremost. That's the most important thing. And the review is, this is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all of the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up.
That's great. And it is, again, 5 stars. Don't forget about that part. It won't go through otherwise. In the meantime, we've still got our Patreon shows. $10,000 a month gets you Just Joey. 15 gets you Just Joey and Just In Sync. And then 20,000 gets you those two and Just Justin. 3 very good shows. And you can subscribe on the internet. So this is
small price to pay for some quality content.
Just do it.
Support content creators, okay? Give us $10,000 a month, at least.
In this gig economy, we got to take whatever we can get. And you can get our Joey podcast. That's all.
We just want to talk about Joey. Please let us.
Yes.
But it's $10,000 a month to break our silence.
We refuse to talk about Joey until somebody signs up for $10,000 a month. That goes directly to us. To support our love of Joey. Matt LeBlanc could probably afford it.
I agree.
He's got plenty of money from his time as Joey.
Yeah, Matt LeBlanc, why aren't you paying us $10,000 a month?
Why not? You're good for it, I'm sure. You know what Matt LeBlanc is probably doing right now?
Probably just counting money.
Yeah, I think he's having a great
But how
summer.
is he doing it?
Ooh, I hope good.
Anyway. I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Oh, I said have a great summer.
Deuces.
Got out of town on a boat going to Southern Islands, sailing to reach before a following sea. She was making for the trades on the outside and the downhill run to Papaete. Off the wind on this heading line, the Marquesas. You got 80 feet of a water line, nicely making way in a noisy bar in Avalon. I tried to call you, but on the midnight watch I realized why twice you ran away. Think about how many times I had
I'm also hitting recording.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? Set. Go. And we're off. Remember the Derby? Kentucky Derby?
Yes. Yeah, that when I think and they're off, I immediately think about the Kentucky Derby.
I'm always thinking about the Kentucky Derby. When the Kentucky Derby isn't on my TV, I think, where's the Kentucky
Jake,
Derby?
when does the Kentucky Derby take place?
May?
What day?
Memorial
Like, what day this year did it take place?
Probably a Saturday.
Who won?
A horse,
Oh,
obviously.
all right. I thought maybe you
at the
were
Kentucky Derby.
bluffing, but yeah, you
No.
seems like you know a lot about it.
For the first time, you understand now why you came this way. 'Cause the truth you might be running from is so small, but it's as big as the promise of a coming day. So I'm sailing for tomorrow, my dreams are dying, and my love is an anchor tied to you.
Another graceful landing.
Well, it's a really good show.
Landed that like Sully, just total pro.
Mm-hmm.
Got
Yeah.
got hit with the birds when I interrupted you. Took her in smooth.
Basically the Sully podcast. I'm not the Sullied podcast.
Yeah.
Heaven brought you and me, cannot be forgotten. I have been around the world, looking for that woman love, who knows love can endure, and you know it will, and you know it will.
Smarten up, Probst.